I started with you, I believe it was August or September of 2024.
Yeah.
So all I was doing was just taking it all in, learning, 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 learning. And then it was learning, listening, and then implementing, right? Because I could be a student for a life, but I'm not going to get anywhere doing that. And
Yeah.
our company was averaging about 15 to $17,000 a month,
Yeah.
which, okay, it's, it pays the bills
Yeah.
to take it to another level. And I remember having a conversation with you in December, if I'm not mistaken, December or early January, to where it's like, um, I want to surpass. I know in the group it's like how to make your first 100,000, but I put a goal in mind to where it was 300,000.
Yeah.
Q1, I was like, I'm ready. New year, let's bring it. And then our whole system crashed. Our whole system crashed, and I just reflected back to how you have already walked through the fire and you were able to build systems anyway. And it's getting out of my own way, right? Because a
Yeah.
lot of times we just get in our own way. And the systems crashed. I had shingles. It was just like, ugh, forget it. We don't have time to be sick. We don't have time to, we just have to go straight full force. Anyway, that just kept on rewinding and replaying in my mind to just keep pushing forward, keep pushing forward. I went from an antiquated system, which was built in 2014, right? That's old already. That's 9 years. And implemented after that, after everything crashed, implemented a new system. And you're always talking about how to stay on top of your marketing, how to
Yeah.
implement the business, knowing your worth. There was so many things that changed, but it was a ripple effect. Once I switched over to the platform, which now from doing things manually, it went all the way to being automated. And that getting an assistant. I know we had our most recent conversation was buying my time back,
Yes.
letting go. And I'm getting to
Yeah.
the question, right? To the answer of the question. Buy back your time. Yes.
Dan Martell to buy back your time.
Buy
And I
back
said that to you because you were just doing so, so much. Yeah.
so much. And I was burning out. That's the thing. I was burning out. I could see myself going into that. And I was like, oh, before I totally shut down, I need to switch it up. That was huge. I got an assistant, relinquished control. He's amazing.
Yeah.
So I bought back my time. And last month was the first month that we made $40,000. And thank you. I am so grateful. I can't tell you how grateful I am. Because I thought, all right, we're on track of doing 25. That's really good. And then when I saw we surpassed 30, I was like, what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
Spoke about changing up, knowing our worth and increasing the value, right?
Yeah.
And I deal with a lot of luxury realtors. So I increased the pricing to everything. They were still paying it because what we were presenting to them was value, right?
Yeah.
We're giving them, and it was just knowing where to how to position ourselves and know that we can move forward. And now we're on track for another, I would say it's still early, right? We still have a week. But right now, right now, I believe, where are we at? I think we're at 25,000 so far for this month.
For this month. So last month was 40K. This
Yes.
month you are at 25K. You have one more good week to go.
One more good week. One more good week. And it usually happens after a holiday that it just takes off.
Right.
So
Right.
I want to see what's going to happen in Q2, but this consistent tracking, we're really going to surpass that
Yeah.
300 if we haven't already.
And what I'm thinking of is I'm imagining someone in Arlen's All Access watching this, and they've been thinking about joining the inner circle before it closes. Because like I said earlier, a few days ago, I said I want, or a few weeks ago maybe at this point, I said I want the remaining people for that 100 group in inner circle to come from inner circle member recommendations or from All Access, just because we have like 80 people. We're going to have this cap of 100. And
Mhm.
I just the group is so phenomenal, you know, and it's like you kind of have to get to know me a little bit to really want to be part of that inner circle. So I'm thinking about the all access members who are watching, and I know they're going to want two things. They're going to want to know, one, why they should join Inner Circle, like from your perspective, because I mean, you've just told them why, but basically, like from your perspective. And the other thing is, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into these steps of how you went from 15K a month, 17K a month to 40. When it comes to joining all Inner Circle while they still can, what would you say to them?
It pays for itself. It pays for itself. I mean, the value that you add, you can charge more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a $25,000 Inner Circle that I have charged 25,000 for in the past. I used to charge 3,000 a month, 7,500 a quarter, or 25,000 a year. And I've charged 5,000.
I can't tell you it. There's a sense of urgency. There's definitely a sense of urgency because the value that you bring is undeniably like well worth 25, 50,000. I mean, I'm sure you're going to get to a point if you haven't already where you're going to be charging $1 million because so
Well, yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
much information that you provide and guidance because you're a text away. I can't believe like at first I didn't even dare text you. I was like, my God, if I'm texting you and 30, 40, 50 other people are texting you, you must be overwhelmed. So at first, but your responses are and you're real. You're
Mm,
real. That's what I love that not only do you look like me, but you're real. I can relate to you to where it's like I'm not getting fluff. I'm not getting, oh yes, let me just no, I'm getting the real
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I love that. So the person who's sitting on the fence, get off that damn fence because you're not making money on that fence.
I love that. That's a great. I'm gonna make an ad out of this video. You're saying all the right things. Talk about how Colin has been instrumental
Oh
in
wow.
all of this. Because Colin, for those who don't know, Colin Yearwood, who you know in All Access, who you've gotten to know over time, you get 4 calls with Colin, but that's not even the best part. Like Colin makes you part of his ecosystem. He really wants you to win. So it's like 4 calls, which are worth thousands of dollars for sure. You get that included in this, but it's more than that, right? So how has Colin really helped you with this?
Oh my God, Colin is such a what a divine human, beautiful human being. He just walks through the process. Sometimes we have we're so much that we're trying to filter, right? And he
Yeah.
compartmentalize every each and every item and look for simple solutions in a way that you and I are speaking now, opposed to, okay, let me give you this script and you're going to do this for this. No, to where it's building real relationships. And also you can implement that in your business
Yeah.
sales so that you're addressing the sales aspect from a more of a personal point rather than being too salesy. He just
Mm,
breaks it down to where I love that he gets to know you as a person to then find the solutions. That's really where that's
that's
what
true.
all bodies.
It's absolutely true. I hear that from every inner circle member who texts me or tells me about their call with Colin. Like when you join, it's very simple to go through the classroom. It's not like all access where there's a bunch of stuff. It's like this is how you get my phone number. This is how you post here, and you get that initial. You can book a call with Colin. And so when I get on my onboarding calls with people, I'm like, did you talk to Colin yet? Or did you book your call? And a lot of times people are like, no, I was waiting for you. And I say, great. But I would highly recommend you book at the same time. Like you get as quickly as you can with that first call with Colin and as quickly as you can with me, because that's just going to send you off to the races. And then, yes, like you just said, it's been like, what, 9 months? And that's not a long time in grand scheme of things, but that's a few months in to have those types of results. So you want to get started quickly, and then you want to go through that path, that journey of getting to a point where you're now at 40,000 a month, a $500,000 a year run rate. That's incredible. So let's talk about that a little bit. I know that there are people, I can imagine the people right now are like, in Mastermind and All Access, they're like, what? Tell me what you did. So just to kind of highlight again, what is your offer? What do you sell to people and to what type of people?
It's real estate photography, videography, 3D Matterport, and marketing.
Did you
Um,
say 3D?
3D Matterport or virtual tours,
Mm.
and
Yeah, I
and
mean, I know you do that, but I know it's called Manaport.
Matterport. That's
Matterport.
or virtual tours.
Nice. Okay. Yep.
So yeah, how I don't
Okay.
know.
So how much do you charge for it? And you're selling this to what type of, who's the end user, the end customer?
Absolutely. Mainly agents. So we're selling to real estate realtors. And we have our basic package, which was before it was $4.99. Now we've upped it to $5.99. It's about to take another jump to $6.49, $6.99. Looking for
Yeah.
a sweet spot. But those are for the smaller homes. And then an all-inclusive, our luxury Lux style package, then that is starts at 1,400. And then it
Yeah.
could go the way up depending on the size of the home, 3,000, 4,000, four
And
thousand. And
it's certain cities that you have, or is it?
out in Northern California, so
Mhm.
Sacramento, Placer County, that's mainly our focus. We're soon going to expand to San
San
Diego,
Diego? Yes. That's exciting.
expanded our team as well to
Yeah.
from photographers to five. We have our sixth photographer starting tomorrow. So super excited, and an assistant to where
Yep.
he does all the work while I'm sleeping. So I love it.
When you talk about 40K income, how much of that is profit?
That we're working on that.
Yeah.
Uh, Profit right now is about 14.3%, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But we're really working on that because it could be, there's a lot of costs going out for with the editing. Our
Oh, that makes sense. So the editing is just cutting into your profits. Can
cutting
you,
in,
do you mind if I ask you how much you, like if you do a video, that's for
well,
everyone, right? How much does that cost you compared to what people are paying you?
well, if we do the video, when we do the video, our photographers are editing the video.
Hmm.
We're just sending out photos, but the photos could be from $1 to $1.40. So even though our volume has increased and our pricing has increased, so has the cost because we've gotten higher end editors.
Yeah.
We were paying 50, 60 cents a photo. It's now doubled.
Oh.
So
And how
we're
many photos are, let's say it's a $650 package. How
oh,
many photos are coming to? I'm trying to figure out the math.
looking at 50 to 70 photos, depending if they have a pool, don't have a pool. So it does
Yes.
cost.
It's like
Now you
$100. Yeah, it's like $100. And then you have the photographer themselves.
photographer themselves. So they're all on different splits,
Mm.
percentages. Um, and then you have all the operating costs.
Yeah.
So
So
they're
what's exciting to me is that's our next step. So after we do this interview, our next step is to get on about how we help with those profit margins.
beautiful. And I love
Because
that
yeah.
showing us how to use these AI tools that we use just in our business. But if we can expand that to where we can automate a lot more
Yeah.
editing of the photos and get it to where it looks very professional. And for those more so for the luxury market that we're targeting, because that's
I'm
all.
gonna I'll keep cutting you off. What'd you say?
But my goal has always been catering to the luxury realtors. I mean, we take in everything, right? But well, not
Yeah.
every,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and we're doing a lot more commercial as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that there is probably a tool right now, an AI tool right now that can help you turn that $100 per luxury listing for the editing of your photos down to $1. And I know that Nicole McCain is watching this, Um, I'll make sure she does. I think what we can do is like as part of Inner Circle, I can have Nicole McCain come in, who is now our resident AI expert for business. I'll have her come in and take a look at your company and say, what can we do? What can you do to just really lock in there? So we have a couple pieces of homework. Send me a text and we'll go from there. And then so I want to go back to just kind of closing the loop on how you got to 40K because I know it's going to be helpful to this group. So you sell those. How do you advertise?
We weren't. A lot of our stuff is from referral. We've
Nice.
7 years. So I would say a good 90 to 92% is referral based.
What?
And I implemented your tool with the oh my, what is it? The affiliate.
Yeah. Oh, from yesterday.
No, but you had discussed this prior to.
Oh, okay. The affiliate, just in general, just having affiliate. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about could you give them a small percentage instead of paying for advertising because people are going to go out there. So how did that work out?
The referral code, it went crazier than I thought, and I didn't think about what I was giving them. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna give them $100, but then it's like, oh, I
That's $100 cutting into my. Can you change it? Can you change it to like,
put it whatever I want.
yeah.
That just blew up.
Oh,
That
that's
just
so cool though. I mean, because it would cost you more than that to do like cold ads, much more than that to do cold ads, I think. Don't you
and
think? Or
and I believe our cost for per client to obtain a client, if I'm not mistaken, the spend per customer right now is 785. And I believe it costs about 410, I want to say about $410 to obtain a client. So that
okay,
has,
and then how when you have one client, how many listings do they normally do?
oh my gosh, it all depends on the volume that they have. But
Yeah.
right, dealing with number, the top three realtor agencies in in that area, in that county.
Yeah. Well,
Where,
that's interesting.
yeah,
So
we
you
got
it costs you about 500 to bring on a customer. They're going to do multiple listings most likely that are in the 500 range. So that first is a loss leader and then the next one is like about the other ones that they do. There's so much we can dig into. I mean, because we spent a lot of time just kind of getting you to a place where you were not burning out, where you were having fun, where you even knew like if you could keep sustaining this, and especially as you scaled, because we could see that writing on the wall end of last year, like, oh, this is actually blowing up. And what think is that you can get to $100,000 months. Like I think you can get to that at least gross. And then I think if on top of that, if you can get to $100,000 months and also bring your profit margins up to like 30 to 50%, it's like a no-brainer, crazy, crazy. Let's like make that our goal. So you do that, you advertise, it's a lot of referrals because you're doing something that people need. And then when it comes to your team is you, it's your new assistant, it's these photographers. Or tell us about anyone who's like doing any organizing or like logistics or like booking.
that's my assistant.
Okay,
He is amazing. So a lot of
wonderful.
things that I was doing manually, now the system is automatically doing it, right? Because I was even doing invoice. I don't want to tell you the things I was doing.
Well, I know some of it, but
I was doing 1980s.
you automated a bunch of this stuff. How did you automate it even before the assistant?
We looked for a platform that was, I was just testing different platforms to see what was number one, cost effective, and number two, had all the tools that I needed of, notifications, emails, the marketing kit, which is huge. That's a huge seller.
Yeah.
I can create a URL like 123 Main Street for the client within the system instead of having to go out to GoDaddy, purchase
Mm,
NS code and all that. No, no.
wow. Wow. So a ton of automation has helped you just picking and choosing. And I want to remind people what Liz is saying is that she was doing all of this herself. Anything that wasn't photography, she was doing herself. And now with Inner Circle, you have like automated a lot of this, and then you've also brought in some human help to take some of this off your plate as you continue to grow and scale. But it's not even at the same time. It's not like, oh, I'm growing, so I need to do this. It sounds like you're growing because you're doing this.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Had I not made those changes and stayed in that poor mindset to where it's like, I had a fear of success
Mm.
because I failed hard in 2008. And I mentioned that to you, to where I lost
Yeah.
my businesses,
Yeah.
lost homes, certain other things. And it was
That
just like,
was my killer year too, by the way. That was my very, very, very dark year.
and went to living on my daughter's hard futon.
You should buy her a futon just as a symbolic gift, like with a soft one.
and I feel that that was holding me back because
Mm.
every time I would take steps forward, there was something in the subconscious mind just holding me back. And I feel with just listening to your videos and our conversations has helped me just propel. I
Mm.
want to keep up my team,
Yeah.
right? If I'm the captain of the ship, they're going to follow suit. And I like to keep things positive, but at the same time, it was like, oh, let me not overwhelm them. Let me not do this. Let me
Hmm.
not.
Your
So,
team being the photographers or anybody else involved? Yeah. I love the photographers because it's very black and white if they did a good job.
right,
It's not a lot of ambiguity as to like, oh, you're doing okay, but I don't know if I should let them go. It's like they're doing a great, I can see it. And if they're not doing a great job, I can tell them how I want it better.
right. And we try to coach them up. And if we can't coach them up, we coach them out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that was another thing you taught me. I was struggling with my clients that were dominating, that not dominating, crossing the boundaries.
Hmm.
Help me set those boundaries to where it's like, do I get rid of one of my, she's within the top 10 because every conversation, everything was just so much friction.
Yeah.
And we went heart to heart. And now it's like, okay, lay down the boundaries and this is it. Either you follow or you move forward, you move on. And
Yeah.
others that we just promoted them to client, we let them go. It was too time consuming, too time.
And you're talking about the client itself. And sometimes, like I have this conversation with a lot of our inner circle members because I went through this the hard way and I didn't understand boundaries. I was looking at my company as a family, my teammates as a family, and I was taking on all of their burden, all of like they didn't ask me to. I was just doing that. And because I was doing that, then it turned into resentment on my part of, wait a minute, I'm doing all this for you. Like, and it's like, no, it's not a family. It's your family is your family. And those boundaries that you can create, you can still have a really fun time, a really great atmosphere, but it's about the work that they're doing and it's about the transaction of the arrangement you have made with them. That's what this is about. You're doing this. And if you can help upskill them, if you can help give them opportunities, that's even better. But I know a lot of us we want to be servant leaders. And therefore, we think that means just putting it all out on the line for other people and just having those lines blurred so often.
That is so true. And Arlen, there's something else I wanted to mention that before I met you, before I found your videos and went down the rabbit hole and read your books, and I would have probably, or I have paid, I would say 7 to 8 different coaches or mentors.
Wow.
So thank you, save me a bundle.
Mhm.
But not only that, of course, when you're getting it from different sources, then you're all over the place. And that's how I felt. I felt so scattered. And then you just took me and said, okay, let's compartmentalize everything. And this is what you need to do here, here, and here. And you addressed something from my artwork, which I then took and implemented in for the real estate photography.
Really?
Yes. Yes. So that's where I said, I need to get this under control because I felt like I was burning out. I didn't have time to create,
Yeah.
time to go and paint. And I could wake
Oh,
up,
I remember. Yeah. Yeah.
create, and not have to worry about the business because know that everything that I usually do the first 3 hours already taken care of.
Let's talk about that a little bit more. What you're referring to is you were at a point very recently where you were so burnt out that you couldn't do your art,
Yeah,
which is behind you right now, this beautiful art that you do, which is kind of what we started focusing on, to begin with. It was like, how do you get your art out on YouTube and how do we do that? But you weren't even able to have time to do your art, which is like the opposite of what you signed up for and were trying to do. And so, yeah, walk the audience through how, like what you just said, because what you just said basically is now you didn't have time to do it at all. You had can I talk about the commission that you had? Like the gift? Like, so you had someone you were going to do a commission or a gift. I can't remember which one it was, but you were supposed to do this and you actually, oh, I remember now. Okay. But you actually didn't have the time to do it. And so now you're saying that just a few weeks later, you have a pocket of 3 hours each morning, which is where we're filming this, right? You have this pocket of 3 hours each morning where your team is handling it. Your assistant, the person you brought in, the automations, they're handling that part. So now if you want to wake up and paint or think or whatever, you can do that. Did I get that right?
absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely. I went from working 16, 17-hour days, which I didn't want to go back to doing. I was at a point where I was like, either this works or I'm out. I'm
yeah.
just, because that's how burnt I was. And I was like, if I can't do what I really love, then why am I doing this? Because I'm no longer an entrepreneur. Now I'm self-employed. It's
Yeah.
just another employee within the business. That's all it is. And now I can oversee everything and perhaps work 3 to 4 hours a day.
Mm,
So thank you for that freedom.
I love that. And as a reminder, at the same time that you're growing your company and the revenue of your company, you're able to work fewer hours in a week.
I basically step in when there's an issue. I
Hmm.
find it and that's it.
As it should be. That's exactly how, if you're watching this and you're thinking through, like, oh, I want that, that's how it should feel. It should feel like things are moving along, you're looking around at everything, and if there's something that happens that's unexpected, you're able to jump in and fix it without it being such a panic because you've had your eyes on everything, but other adults are tasked with certain responsibilities that were once yours. Ultimately, it's your name on the banner. It's your reputation. So you're not going to just be like asleep at the wheel. You're not going to just be like, I don't care what happens next. They got it taken care of. But there's a big difference between that and just doing everything because you're
Right.
like, nobody else can do it well, or I don't know anybody who can do it, or I can't afford it. It's like, can you afford not to bring somebody in to give you 20 hours of your weekday, or maybe even what you're saying is it's more like 60 hours of your weekday, a work week. Let me say it one more time of your work week. Um, 60 hours of your work week have been given back to you, which gives you time to not only be creative and do your work on your paintings, which themselves bring you income because you sell them, but it also gives you time to strategize, to do partnerships, to bring in more customers, to talk to current customers. All those things are money making moves. And
Yeah.
that's what it unlocks in you.
It unlocks so much because we weren't even considering doing the marketing aspect to what we recently discussed and then seeing it on yours on the mastermind class yesterday. And I was like, that's it. Because we were going to go in and do 30 edits, 30 video clips for like 5 grand. And I was like, why? Why are we doing 30? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Yes. Video. Ooh.
My,
Ooh.
my business partner, yeah, I could just go in and do like 30 clips because that's what they're doing for about $5,000. And I was like, no, because if we're doing, and then you said, hey, you can offer this, 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 and this. And I was like, got it. All right. Now we can, now that's the next project that I'm working on.
Yeah. Very
The
cool.
the marketing. And we're also doing more commercial. So business advertising.
Mm-hmm.
last week I sent out 8 proposals and won 3 of them. That's great. I was happy,
Oh.
but we won 3 of them. Where before it would take me forever to get those proposals out because I had my hands in so many things.
Yes, yes. So now you have, let's take it one more step. You
Yeah.
have all this time you've bought back for yourself,
Yes.
and you have AI that you're learning. So now you have AI that you're learning, and imagine you were still inundated with all that work, and you heard me say something that you thought could work. You wouldn't have time to even explore it. You'd be like, oh, that sounds cool, but that just went by me because I'm over here doing the trenches. But now you can say, oh, there may be an AI way that we can actually do these photo edits, and it doesn't cost $100. It costs maybe $1. Let me explore that. Let me spend the week exploring that. Maybe, it's just so interesting, and it's such an interesting time, I think. I think this is like an the iron is hot time. I said this at the top of January, go from New Year's Eve into January. I think I even started in December saying this. I said that what this time at that time reminded me of, because we had just had the election and we had a lot of uncertainty still, tariffs, the economy, our rights, our home lives, like figuring out like what to do with money because people were struggling. I said it reminded me so deeply of March 2020, where the uncertainty levels were at the peak of most of our lifetimes. And it took me 72 hours. I talk about this in the paperback of It's About Damn Time. I talk about this in the paperback version as the new intro. It took me 72 hours of being very scared, of hiding under the covers, and of like not knowing what the heck was going on. And 72 hours later, I was like, all right, let's go. Because what's going to happen is that there's going to be opportunity on all of this. Now, I will say that I didn't know the time at the time. Like I knew that I had to buck up and I had to be strong for other people in that time, for my company, for the entrepreneurs who we invested in, and for the ecosystem at large, the venture capital ecosystem and tech ecosystem. That was just my place to do that, in my opinion. But what I didn't know was that by doing that, having that fortitude and strength at that time, I was setting myself up for the future, because that's April of 2020 is when I launched my online academy. I hadn't had any online education before that I was offering. And I went on to sell millions of dollars worth of online education. The one thing I regret is that I didn't understand YouTube at the time, but I would have more than 1 million followers if I had done that. And we get on the other side, like 2021 was this boom era. I was able to raise a ton of money for a company. Then I had to go back and it just bust, and I had to go back and change all those terms because it was like, oh, that was a bubble, my bad. But we get on the other side of it and we look back and we're like, those YouTubers who started in 2020 and 2021 are absolutely blown up now in the education space. We think, or in other spaces too. Then we look back and we say, oh, like 2021 was a bubble. That means that a lot of money was coming in that we could have taken advantage of. Okay. So my point is, we in retrospect look back at that time. We are in it right now.
Yes, we
We
are.
we cannot afford to miss it and say, "Oh, that's when it was happening. Oh man, I missed it." Because there's so much, like just like during that time in 2020 and 2021 when we lost so many people, we lost so much of ourselves. It was such a horrible time. And you see that certain people were able to flourish. We have to not let life happen to us.
Beautiful.
So I implore anyone who's seeing this, whether you're seeing this inside of Arlen's All Access or Mastermind, or if I've opened this up to YouTube, maybe whoever's seeing this, this is happening right now. If you're seeing this in 2025, 2026, or 2027, it's happening.
Exactly.
Don't let it happen to you, right? Be part of it. Now, last piece I want to talk about is the, is there an inner peace that you have?
That's what my art brings me, right? That,
Yeah.
but being able to, because during 2020, as you mentioned, that was our peak of our business.
Mm,
Said, no, don't buy the virtual camera, don't buy the Matterport, don't buy. I dove head in. And then when everything went in shutdown, our company was really the only one, not the only one out there, but within probably a good 10-mile radius that
yeah,
was just on fire.
yeah,
Photographers. And I actually had to pull in 2 or 3 photographers just for that time period.
yeah.
And it's always been with in my heart and my soul. I always seek for that peace. If it doesn't bring me peace, I have no problem letting it go. And when we spoke back, I think it was in March, January, February, I don't recall, February or March, I was on the cusp of just saying, let it go, and just walking away and going 100% in my artwork. So thank you, because I think that would have done us a huge disservice.
Yeah.
Now I see that I'm not stressed because I think we spoke because I had so much anxiety.
Mm.
I don't suffer from anxiety. I have so much inner peace.
Yeah,
Why? From anxiety.
I will say it was hectic. It was a like you are such a peaceful person, and I'm speaking in your language now with your energy, it's usually very, like right now, it's very peaceful. It's very calm, even if things are spinning around you. I think during that time, I saw fear.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I remember seeing. And that fear was making like the spinny energy radiate. It was that. What's behind you?
I felt so out of balance.
What is behind you? Is that an animal or is it a, it was just moving, that white thing? I know I'm being weird. No, no, no. Right to your left, like never mind. It's not important. I just saw something like move. I think it might be your window is open and it's making something blow or
Oh, yeah.
something.
It's a floating moon. It's a floating moon, but the sound you heard earlier, the magnet just pulled it down. So I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, all good. I'm being so distracted. Okay, so you feel this inner peace both because you get to, I mean, your art is always going to bring you back there. And because you have found some key pieces of your company that feel right. I don't want to give anybody the impression that it's like, oh, it's good for the rest of the time now. We're good. Anything could change.
absolutely.
Anything could change. And I think it's just being aware of it and just kind of keeping that, feet on the ground awareness.
And it's the strategies that you've helped me, because before I felt like I had all this knowledge, I just didn't know what to do with it. And then you brought it in and simplified everything to where it's like, okay, here, let's take this group and let's address this, and let's address this, and let's address that. Now
Yeah.
go do it.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that you always left me with something to take action, right?
Mm,
And if you're sitting on the fence, you're not making money.
yeah. It's, you know what it is? It's these texts. It's like Inner Circle has a bunch of stuff. Lots of benefits, ridiculous benefits. But I think it's that ability to just be like, anytime something's up, we can talk about it. I
Yeah.
think that's the one of the keys to it.
And I love the response because you feel so present, like you're sitting in my living room where we're just talking and having a conversation.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Because
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Well, sometimes it'll take me a few days, and I say that, but when I'm responding to them, I'm acting like you're right in front of me. I'm like, okay, let's get down to the strategy. Okay, this is how I would do it. I don't. That's why I let it take a few days because I want to be very present when I'm responding.
Oh, and I thank you for that. And that's again the value that you bring to where with other people that I've worked with in the past, it's always been like, okay, just do this and quick solution. And it's like you
Mm, yeah,
confuse
you're
it,
not seeing me. You're not really understanding.
you're not
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
And you're so witty. You have it like you're witty. You come up with these, you so creative. And it's like,
Thank you.
and I know it's years of experience and you have so much wisdom
Thank
and
you.
that you're just so open to share, where a lot of people just contain it and it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
give it this much, but I'm not going to give it all away. And you're just putting it all out there. So
yeah.
I don't know. Increase your prices. Uh,
I'm not, well, here's the thing. I am capping it for real at 100 people. And that's lifetime. Like I'm not gonna open that up more. And I'm going to do I thought about and I, thought about raising prices for the last ones, but I thought, you know what? I'm gonna keep it as is. Um, I will say though, anybody who is interested in joining Inner Circle, especially if you're from the groups that I mentioned, this is the time. It's going to be full. And when it's full, the only way you can get in is when someone drops out and it's a very low churn. It's extremely low churn. So I would say join it. You also have the ability to join my YouTube studio. And that offer is one that I'm very excited about. And that one's one that does scale beyond 100 people, right? That one's the one that in Inner Circle, you can always ask me about it. I'll talk about it in other places, but that one for me, when you talk about like raising my prices, that one for me, I think is people join for 5K. There's payment plans for Inner Circle. There's payment plans for YouTube Studio. 5K, 10 videos. But then when what I believe, based on the high quality, just like what you're doing, I believe that people will do the first 10 videos and it'll take 3 months for us to do it. And then they'll want to go again and they'll want to go again. And so that'll be my high ticket offer for the year, because it's, it's in a row. Like if you want to keep going and do more and, pay another 5K or whatever it ends up being, that's great. If you don't, you got the first 10 videos, your brand style now, kind of the game plan, you've watched me help you. So to me, that's exciting to think about because it's like, oh, that's going to be really easy to show people like, oh, this person worked with me and they made $20,000 because we helped them with their videos. That's going to be fun.
that's my next goal is putting my artwork out there because I did do
Yeah.
here, which you helped me and it was very successful. And I
Yeah.
think and now it's creating that content so I can put out there and be able to share that wisdom and that knowledge and
Yeah.
all that comes through right within the paintings and do and just implement that into this business and the other business that I
Well,
have my daughters as well.
I think you could have two channels. I think you could have a art channel and you could have a channel for your business.
I do have one, but the other one we're probably going to need to switch it up and maybe you can advise me on that.
Yep. Yeah.
Before I was putting all the content for my agents, but now it's all embedded within our system, so there's no need for me to now.
Oh, you're like unlisted. Yeah. No, I'm saying if you have a few key videos out there on YouTube about your service, you could pick up a ton of new customers.
Well, let's get working.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it. Just hit me up on text if you want to do that. But yeah, I think that would be really cool.
I love what you're teaching us with the AI, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna keep doing that and we'll keep implementing that, bringing in opportunities. Um, Also in Inner Circle, we have in-person meetups and things like that. So we're doing that in June for a few people. So if you can make it to LA June 17th with a few people, that'd be awesome. If not, we'll do more. We'll do some other ones. I'm gonna go. This has been amazing, absolutely amazing, and I'm going to put this up on Inner Circle and All Access today, and then I'll have my editors make a version for YouTube for another time. But the reason I'm doing it this way is because I want, like I said before, I want all access members and mastermind members to have first dibs on those remaining ones. And I don't want to, I don't want to have other people skip ahead of them. So remember, there are payment plans. I hadn't done that in the past, but it's something that I have grown to be okay with. And so I'm doing payment plans for Inner Circle through PayPal. If you qualify, you can have up to 36 months to pay it. And if you don't want to do it that way, that's interest. Like people don't like to pay interest. So if you just want to pay for it up front, you can do that as well. But yeah, it'll be fun to see who joins.
I want to mention also the community that you built and how people interact and what they offer, right? Because there's always a class, whether it's on Arlen's All Access or Mastermind or the one-on-one in the inner circle or the group in the inner. There's just so much. It's mind blowing. I can't keep up. It's just
Yeah.
so.
I mean, yeah. And, when I think about it, it's like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm overwhelmed or it's too much. I think of it as like, that's why I called my first product Arlen's Academy. Because I think of it as like, oh, I can go in and I can like pick and choose these lanes. But people are like, whoa, there's so much. But yeah, it's quality stuff. And I appreciate you, Liz. Thank you so much for this. I think this is going to help a lot of people.
And just for your mentorship, your guidance, you have been invaluable. I mean, the self, I don't even know how to put it into words. I just want to take you and hug you and say
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you. And not only that, you're making an impact. You're making a difference. You're making a difference in the business world to where it's more about them than us, right? Than the people. You're making such a loud statement, and it's a ripple effect that you're causing right now because of all these people that you are empowering.
Mm,
Bless, I mean, bless your heart. Because thank you.
thank you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate
Appreciate you.
it.
All right. I'll see you soon. I'll wait for your text as well for the little pieces that we're going to work on.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.